password. Assume that this password is set for project manager. So once you log in here, okay, so we can create our own user because this user has, okay, IT security manager role, so that we can create implementation users. If we want to create the implementation user, so we need to go to tools, security console. So this security console role, okay, you will get, if at all, if we have IT security role. So this user already have, reason we are able to get security console. Now I am creating my own user. Okay, just click create user. Okay, so here add user account. This particular page can be personalized. Okay, so this is a standard format given by Oracle. But if you want to, okay, add some more things in this particular definition, we can personalize this form. Okay, let's take so let's take Mustafa. Okay, so you can give first name and last name also. I just given as only one name, and you can give any user ID. I mean, the password we need to set. Assume that Oracle is setting this. Oracle is Oracle is setting this user ID, and once we define this, we need to assign the roles. Here we need to assign 3 different roles: application, implementation, consultant. So if you have application implementation consultant role, as we discussed yesterday, we can able to get the access for the FSM, functional setup manager. Okay, if we have FSM access, all application related configurations, we can able to do that. So this is very significant in order to perform the configurations in the applications. Okay, and we need to add one more role, IT security manager. IT security manager, we have, okay, FND IT security also. You can take anyone, but the recommendation would be the role which is started with the code of Vora. So better we need to take this one. And we need to add one more role, that's a generic role. So employee. Okay, so employee role also. So these 3 roles set by Oracle, and assume that Mustafa is a project manager. Okay, you already a project manager. So I just assigned all these roles. You are the implementation manager. Just assume that you are the implementation manager, and this particular user ID and password they will send through mail. Okay, they will send through mail. Okay, so and after that the project manager will be login. So you can able to see it here. Mustafa AK. So
you wrote it properly. You write my name wrongly. That's why.
Okay, let me go with 1 minute. Yeah, I can change this. I can change this. Click on done. Let's go and verify. So just I can edit this. I can edit this. So spelling is Mustafa. Is it correct?
1F.
One.
1F.
1F. Okay, thank you. So I just give Mustafa. Okay, and save and close. Okay, click on done. So once I'll get the access through mail from Oracle organization, okay, we need to log in. We need to log in and we need to perform the respective setups. Okay, so once I get the user ID and password, I am logging as a project manager. Okay, here select the user ID and password. So if you log into this, okay, this is a layout. This is a layout given by Oracle. There are two layouts which are available basically. One is new feed layout. Okay, so the look and feel. Okay, these all we are calling it a springboard. Okay, there is another layout is called as banner layout. So we'll discuss those points little later. Just this is a layout which is available here primarily. Okay, if you want to access any application, we need to go here. There is a navigator is available. Okay, we need to log into this navigator, and accordingly, what we need to do is we need to perform, okay, the required configurations or required setups. So here we'll have access for two things. One is for transaction purpose. And another access is for setup purpose or configuration purpose. So setup purpose, they're given setup and maintenance. So the setup and maintenance access, why I am getting here is because of this user. This user has assigned application implementation consultant role. That's the reason I am able to access setup and maintenance access. And I also assigned IT security manager. Because of IT security manager, I can able to access security console access. So if we have security console access, we will create the users for others. We can create the users for others. So now, okay, instead of logging security and setup and maintenance, there is another way is also available. Okay, we can do it from configurations from here also. Setup and maintenance. Okay, once I log in as a project manager, I want to track the progress of my project going forward. That's the reason what I need to do. I will create a project in the application. So this is not like as a project in the PPM. Okay, that project is different. This project is different. This project, the intention is just to assign, identify how many tasks we need to perform for each module and which task is assigned to whom, how much percentage is completed, what is the progress. Okay, so it can be act as a lightweight tool only. Okay, it will not work how we are doing projects in the project management tool. We don't have that kind of functionalities which are available in this particular project. Okay, this is just lightweight project, I can say as. So once I come here landing on this page, okay, I need to go to manage implementation project. I can extend up to 100 this. Okay, so there are different projects are available, but if you take client environment, but this is a practice environment, that's the reason here and all we can able to see many projects. But if you take as a case the customer instance, we have only, okay, we can able to create only one project usually that we can create, okay, we can create one project. If at all going forward, if you require, we can create another project. Usually we don't have these many projects. Okay, so based on the requirement, okay, we can create the project here. Just click on create project. So for example, okay, here, for example, we are using, so for example, let's take one project. For example, I am implementing for Al Raji Bank. Okay, so Al Raji Bank project. Okay, so we need to define this project. Okay, and the code automatically it will come here. The code automatically it will come based on the, okay, the words which is given, it will automatically take under words. And afterwards, what we need to do is, By default, it will be assigned to the project manager. By default, it will be assigned to the project manager. And after that, don't open save and open project. We need to go for next. We need to go to next. Here, under this project, what are the offerings which we require? We need to select the all required offerings. Okay. So here, what we need to do? Here, what are the offerings are required? We need to select. For example, I required financials. Select this. Okay, select this option. Under this financials, okay, what are the sub options are required? Okay, so these we are calling it as a options. This is a financial is a offering under this supplier invoice processing. Supplier invoicing processing is nothing but AP. Supplier invoicing processing nothing but AP. Expenses is nothing but I expenses. Fixed assets. Customer invoicing processing nothing but AR. Okay, and if you want to implement revenue management or if you want to implement intercompany, okay, you can enable required options. Okay, and if you want to implement Fusion Accounting Hub, FAH also you can enable. But here and all, I'm enabling only financials and procurement. Procurement also very significant for this implementation. Just I'm taking procurement also. Under this procurement, what options are required? We need to select all options. Only offering will not helpful. We need to select the options also. And after that, what we need to do is, for example, I implement project accounting also, project PPM. So in PPM, we have two different functional modules are available. One is execution management and one is financial management. For example, under financial management, under financial, what functionalities you want to implement? Project control, costing, billing. The required options I need to select here. And if you want to implement execution management also, you can select execution management also. Under execution management, we have basically task management and resource management. Here we have. So totally we selected three different offerings. And each offering I selected different options. And after that, what I need to do, save and open the project. So once I save and open the project, system will automatically distribute the tasks. What task we need to perform. And the function setup module, it will give the guide. It will work as a guide and which task we need to execute first and which task we need to perform later. That kind of navigation also it will show us. So once I save and open the project, system will automatically distribute the task list. So in order to distribute, it may take 1 or 2 minutes because we selected three different functional solutions. Mustafa, you're asking something?
Not yet, I'm not asking.
Okay, thank you. So now, these are the different solutions which we taken as offers. And here functional solution, procurement solution, and project PPM solution. So if you look into financials, if you take as a financial, here, so there are so many sub functions are available. Sub functions are available. So what we need to do is, if we just, for example, if I just click on common options or common So there is enterprise structure is available. Okay, there is enterprise structure, and after that there is a ledgers configuration, legal entity configurations. It will show us, okay, which task it is to execute first. Okay, it will show us, and after that, what we need to do is, okay, we need to assign all these tasks to the respective consultant. For example, okay, so Mustafa is a project manager as well as he is a financial consultant. Just assume that this financial task, okay, all financial tasks we can assign to the, okay, Mustafa, because he is a financial consultant. Financial solution required setups we need to done by the Mustafa. So what I will do, I need to select. So select Mustafa and apply and done. So what happens is all these financial tasks will be assigned to Mustafa. But here there is one important point we need to keep in mind. This particular task assignment we did for Mustafa, but it doesn't mean to say that only Mustafa only will need to execute this task. Such kind of control is not available here. Okay, so anyone can perform any task. Okay, so it doesn't mean to say that the assigned people only can needs to be execute the task. It will not be like that. Anyone can able to execute any task. As we discussed, it is not the project management tool how it is available like in MS projects or Primavera. Okay, so we don't have that much feasibility here. Okay, it is very lightweight project. Okay, so financial task assigned to Mustafa in the same way. What I need to do, I need to assign SCM solution to the SCM consultant, and procurement solution will be assigned to the procurement consultant. And for example, if you want to create the users also, we can able to create easily. The reason behind this is we have security console access, so that we can able to create the users for users and required roles also other consultant, and we can assign okay, all required tasks for the respective people. Okay, so here what actions we did is we take the offerings. Okay, we create project and later we create the offerings and options, and system automatically distribute the required task list. These all are the task list. Okay, so we need to assign different consultants based on their specialization. Okay, if it is a financial consultant, we need to assign financial task, and if he is a SCM consultant, we need to assign the SCM task. So once we distribute this task, okay, so what we need to do is, so the financial consultant, they can start working on the project. The financial consultant is start working on the project. So if you want, for example, if I want to do any setups, for example, I want to create a calendar. If I want to create a calendar, so usually what I need to do is manage accounting calendar. This is a task name. So all tasks, okay, they started with manage accounting calendar. For example, I need to select manage accounting calendar. So we can select like this. Okay, and accordingly, because we selected 4 solutions, this manager calendar definition is available in multiple solutions. So we here, for example, accounting calendar, it is available in PPM, it is available in financial accounting also. And since we are doing in financial, the recommendation what we can do, we can select the financials. So manage accounting calendar, we can select like this. We can do this is one way where we need to select the required task and they can able to perform the task. Another approach is, instead of doing from here, okay, there is a shortcut method is also available. Okay, instead of doing from under the project, instead of doing this, okay, here what we need to do, select financial offering, and here also we can do. Since it is a common setup, right? This is a common setup. Okay, manage accounting calendar. So from here also you can do. This is the one way which we can do that. Okay, so manage accounting calendar. Instead of doing, and there is another way is you can select from here also. For example, in ledger selected, under ledger, okay, all ledgers will be displayed. In the ledger, what are the tasks will required, all tasks will be required, by default it will come. Select required task, whatever task is required, you can select that particular task and you can do that. That is also possible. Select respective functional area and accordingly you can select the respective task and we can try to do that. Otherwise, we can go for search task also. There is another approach is also possible. Okay, this stuff doing here, there is a search option. From here also we can able to select the task. For example, manage, okay, accounting calendar. Okay, so there are 3 different approaches are available. From anywhere we can select the task and accordingly we can execute the respective task here. Okay, so this is all about how to, okay, what are the navigation areas, how we can select our task and we can able to perform the task. Okay, so what is the easiest method is, this is the easiest method, select respective offering, okay, and select the task which we require, okay, and you can able to do the configuration. So this is a way how we can, okay, navigate the place where we want to perform the required task. Okay, now once we completed this, we need to log in as a financial consultant. Okay, so because the implementations usually it will start with the financial consultant. So when we start with the implementation, okay, we need to have some methodology, a methodology, or waterfall methodology, or else agile methodology, or else OEM methodology. There are different methodologies are available. So based on the methodology, we need to execute the project. Okay, for example, most of the implementations are handling an OEM methodology or AIM methodology, with specific to Oracle applications. If you take other technologies, maybe DevOps, other technologies, they may go with some other methodology. The recommendation for Oracle application is AIM or OEM. Okay, so what we need to do as a financial consultant, what things we need to do in the application. Okay, that's a point we need to understand. Okay, so as a financial consultant, okay, what is accounting process? If you go with very traditional accounting process, okay, what is the traditional accounting process? Any guess? Traditional accounting process, what we need to do? What's the accounting cycle?
Traditional accounting process. I didn't understand. What does this mean?
I can say accounting cycle.
Okay.
For example, accounting cycle, how we are doing manually.
Debit and credit, GV. I don't understand.
Okay. So debit and credit is basically journal entry, right? For example, let's take a transaction. We have a transaction, right? We have a transaction. So we know what is the meaning of transaction. Transaction here, anything dealt by the organization which is having some monetary value can be treated as a transaction. For example, I purchased a furniture for 20,000. For example, let's take, so 22nd of September, I purchased machinery. So machinery purchased 20,000, right? Machinery purchased 20,000. Machinery purchased. So this what we are calling it as? We are calling it as a transaction. It's 20,000 AED, for example, 20,000 AED or 20,000 INR, whatever. So can I call it as a transaction? Yes, I can call it as a transaction. Why? Because this is a transaction happened on a particular day with particular value, okay, which is having some monetary value, and where some transaction is happening with your business. So this I can call it as a transaction. So this transaction, what I need to do is, I need to make it as a debit and credit. I need to make it as a debit and credit. So this debit and credit, what we used to Call it as journal entry. Journal entry is nothing but debit and credit, debit and credit. So how that journal entry we can write it here. So 22 September 2020. Okay, here. So what is accounting entries comes here? What is accounting entry? Mystery account data to mystery account is debited 20,000 AED, and for example, if already paid the amount, if it's already hit the bank account, we can call it a cash account. If it is not hit the bank account, still if you want to make the payment, we can call it as accounts payable. Accounts payable. So accounts payable or liability account. So this is a journal entry. This is a journal entry. So mystery account data to cash account or accounts payable. So this is a transaction. So these transactions, once we completed, okay, I need to prepare account, right? So what accounts I need to prepare? I prepare here two accounts. One is a mystery account. Okay, mystery account, and second account is, okay, for example, accounts payable account. Accounts payable account. Okay, two accounts I need to prepare. So mystery account is showing up debit balance. We need to prepare mystery account, and once we get the balance, you will get 20,000 AED. So this balance you will get. Accounts payable also, you will get how much is the balance? 20,000 AED. So this is asset, this is a liability. One is asset, one is a liability. And after that, so this particular accounts where we are doing posting, we are preparing accounts, right? A group of accounts, we need to prepare group of accounts. So the group of accounts is nothing but all accounts group. Logically, if we grouping it, so where we are doing a ledger. So this ledger, here what we are calling it as primary ledger. Usually in traditional process, we used to call it as a ledger. Okay, in accounting terminology, we used to call it as a ledger, but in Oracle applications, we are called the primary ledger. And once we have account balances and debit and credit, what we can do, and we need to prepare trial balance. Based on trial balance, we can prepare financial statements. So financial statement means, okay, financial statements means trading P&L account, you know, and balance sheets. Okay, this is very traditional accounting process we are following. But if you go to Oracle applications, we are not doing any transactions. We are directly passing journal entry in ledger. We are directly passing journal entry in ledger. Automatically, what will happen is, okay, we require directly a ledger. Automatically, system will create the trial balance. System will automatically create the financial statements. So ledger is very significant here because we are passing the journal entry in the ledger, so that based on the ledger balances, system will automatically derive the trial balance, and based on that we can prepare the financial statement like P&L account and balance sheet. P&L account and balance sheet. So once we prepare the ledger, okay, so this ledger here we are calling it as a primary ledger. Primary ledger. So accounts payable, okay. So here mystery account data to accounts payable account. So what happens is, if you want to prepare this ledger, if you want to post the journal entry, here what components here we require? We require date component. We require date component, and we require, okay, transaction component. Transaction component nothing but account component. Here account component, and we require, so this we are passing in which currency. We require three different components. One is, okay, one is date, and one is account, one is currency. Here account we are calling it as a one segment. So for example, if you're doing in business multiple locations, let's take example of Tata. Okay, let's take Tata. Tata is doing business And if we pass the entry, like this, okay, Tata, if you pass the entry like this, system cannot understand, right? This particular mystery is purchased by which department, which division, or which company. So we need to give more meaning. We need to give more meaning for this transaction. Let's say, for example, okay, this Tata want to have, for example, Tata is a company. Under Tata company, we have Tata Motors is there. For example, Tata Motors cars division is, okay, cars division, for example, Hyderabad location, okay, and for example, they purchased machinery. So if you give like this, okay, what is the advantage here is, it is giving more meaning compared to only account. So 20,000 AED, okay, and this is a debit account. In the same way, what I need to do, I need to pass accounts payable account. So instead of taking only account segment, if we take many other segments, what is the great advantage here is, we can track the account balance, we can able to find the balances in multiple levels. Tata Motors, how much machinery is purchased, I can determine. Tata Motors and cars division, how much machinery is purchased, I can able to track it. And Hyderabad location also, how much machinery we purchase, I can track it. So that is the reason what we need to do is, we need to go with multiple segments. Here we are calling it a segment. So this is a date. This is a date. This we are calling it a segment. This is called currency. So date is required, and segments are required, and we required currency also. Which currency we are passing? So date can be captured with the help of calendar. Date can be captured with the help of calendar, because we are doing business, we are expecting that the business also continue in future. Definitely we require current year as well as current future years also. Accordingly, we can able to track the date. In the same way, segments. When I say segments, so it's very significant. So technically, here we used to call it as COA, chart of accounts code or chart of accounts. You are very well knows, right? So all this chart of account, how we can derive, okay, and currency. So currency also required. If you add all these three, what we will get is ledger. So ledger is a collection of calendar, okay, plus we required COA, we required currency, and when you say subledgers, right? Accounts payable, account receivable, these are subledgers. So in case of older versions, which I am talking about 11i and R12, so not in R12 also 11i. So the business have a lot of complexity to bring the accounting from subledgers. So the business used to do some customizations, and because of that, so they're getting so many complications in terms of accounting. That's the reason Oracle, what they did in from R12 onwards is they assigned SLA. So that SLA is nothing but convention. Oracle has given us tool, SLA tool. Based on that, we can design whatever accounting requirements which we have. Accordingly, we can map with the help of SLA. So if you add all these three, what we will get is, we will get ledger. So we will get all ledger, but out of this convention is optional. This is not significant at the time of creation of ledgers, but when you are implementing subledgers, however, it is very significant. Okay, so these three we need to define: calendar, chart of accounts, and convention. Okay, so calendar means, okay, so how we need to define the calendar? So you can define accounting calendar as per requirement. Maybe you can go with 1 year combination or 2 years combination. You may go with Jan to December, or you may go with April to March based on the requirement. So when you say calendar, this is accounting calendar. When you say calendar, this is accounting calendar. So accounting calendar, so basically calendars are two types. One is accounting calendar, one is a business calendar. So accounting calendar is very important. Accounting calendar, the purpose of accounting calendar is, okay, the purpose of accounting calendar is to enter the transactions based on the date which is selected, and we can find the accounting balances for each period. So accounting calendar we are defining as periods. So if we define as a periods, we can find the account balances. We can find the account balances for each period. Account balance for each period. For each period, okay. So that is advantage. We have accounting calendar and accounting calendar if we divide into periods. So there is one more calendar called transaction calendar. So this is not so significant. Many people, they are not aware about transaction calendar. It talks about, okay, the which day is a holiday or which day is a working day. So this basically useful for the banking industries in order to determine the average balances. So when you say average balance, so the average balance is always calculated based on how many days, okay, the bank, worked for a year. Okay, so when you say how many days a bank is working means, so the bank is significant to determine which day is a holiday or which day is a working day. So this is not I mean very important, but accounting calendar is very important, because accounting calendar is part of ledger, and if we have accounting calendar, we can able to track the date and the periods. And currency, when you say currency, okay, all UNO nations currencies are already given by Oracle. So Oracle very well knows that which country is using which currency. Generally, there is no need to define our own currencies, but there are some requirements will come. Maybe if we want to use any cross currencies, or for example, in project accounting module, for example, there are some cases they want to maintain the project, completely with fixed rate. Okay, they don't want to go with corporate rate. They want to maintain complete project with fixed rate. In such case, what we need to do is we can define our own currencies also. That is all about purely business demand. Okay, so generally, whatever currency is given by Oracle, we can use those currencies. And defining of chart of accounts. Defining of chart of account is very significant. Okay, we need to understand the requirements in detail. Okay, while designing the chart of accounts, okay, we need to understand couple of key points about the business. Usually, very experienced guys only can able to prepare the chart of accounts. So when we prepare the chart of accounts, we need to understand multiple factors. We need to understand business requirements. So business requirements in different levels. When I say different levels, how they want to find the balances? I want to track the balance at company level, division level, account level, or product level. We need to understand. Okay. So, in addition to that, we need to understand reporting requirements also. For example, you want to define any report, and in that report you want to keep any segment as a parameter, and based on the parameter, if you want to derive any balances, accordingly we can keep that particular segment because it's very useful for the reporting. And third point is we need to consider statutory requirements also. Statutory requirement, maybe as per legal obligations. For example, you want to keep something, okay, if you want to maintain some tax related things or other related issues, okay, if it's really required and that particular segment is really demanded by the legal entities, such case what we need to do, we need to consider statutory requirements, and we need to consider subledges requirements also. Subledges means, for example, when we design the chart of account, that is not only for GL, okay, that is also significant and used by other subledges. That is the reason, okay, for example, project, okay, project is a segment, okay, project, for example, I'm already implementing project accounting module, okay, I'm implementing project accounting module. Here a question is, do I need to enable project segment module in my chart of account? It's really required or not, that we need to understand. Usually, if you want to prepare project, so project wise P&L account and project wise, if you want to track project wise some balances, okay, instead of two ways we can do that. So we can customize that particular reports and all in the project accounting module. If you don't want to customize any report in the project accounting module, and if you want to maintain a standard functionality, what you can do, you can keep as a project as a segment accordingly. Each and every accounting balance, okay, it's automatically derived from each project. So that if you assign the cost center segment to the project, you can able to track the P&L account for each and every project accordingly. We can able to find the profit for each project. So there are so many other parameters also we need to consider while understanding while designing the chart of account. So we should very well understand the organization structure. We should understand the organization structure before defining the chart of account. Let's take a small example how we can define the chart of account. For example, Tata. Tata it's basically a top enterprise. I can take as a Tata. This Tata, just assume that they have three different companies out there: Tata Motors and TCS and Tata Steel. So these are three different companies. Each company has its own shareholders. So company, Tata Motors company, TCS company, Tata Steel company, and let's take few more companies. Okay, let's take, for example, Tata Mutual Funds, Tata Capital. Just assume these two will keep it outside. Okay, just Tata Capital also. But initially we'll concentrate on this. This Tata Motors, they have two different divisions. Just assume that they have two different divisions. One is for cars division and one is for trucks division. One is for cars division and one is for trucks division. Here, for example, okay, TCS, they have three different divisions: consulting, training, development. Okay, just assume that this cars is located, okay, this cars is located in Hyderabad and Bangalore. So these are the two different locations. Just assume trucks also located in Hyderabad and Bangalore. When we are implementing for Tata Motors, when we are asking for business, so how we want to capture the transaction, what they're saying is they want to track the company, they want to track the division, they want to track the location. So physically it is located in multiple places. Okay, in the same way, TCS consulting, training, development also, it is located in multiple places, but their business users, they don't want to track based on location. For example, consulting, they are doing for SAP, okay, they're doing for Java, they're doing for Oracle, just assume that. So physically it is located in multiple places, but the users, when we pass the transaction, irrespective of the location, they want to enter the transaction. So for example, Tata Steel might be located in 100 places, but in reality, they don't want to track the location. In such case, when we go with Tata Motors, what here we require Tata Motors and we require cars division, right? We require cars division and we require Hyderabad location. However, account is mandatory. For example, machinery account, whatever account, okay? So total, here how many is required? We require company segment, we require division segment, we require location segment, and we require account. So this is a required chart of account with context of Tata Motors. Okay, in the same way, if you go and do for TCS, so TCS, they have TCS and they have a division called consulting, for example, consulting division. And for example, they want to pass with SAP and account is however required. So in reality, they have locations, but they don't want to capture. That means they have company, they don't have location, they may have product. They have product. If you go with Tata Steel, okay, Tata Steel, they have locations, but they don't want to capture at the time of, okay, passing the journal entry. Here only we required account. So here what we required, company and account. Company and account. So if you take as a case, I cannot define three different chart of account. So with the context of all different companies, I can prepare only one chart of account. Company is required, division is required, okay, location is required. Maybe location it is not there, you can pass with some non-values, okay. Location is required. Product we don't have motors, but we can pass with some non-values. account is required. Okay, and we may keep some spares. In going forward, we may use some spare one and spare two in order to use in future. We may have spare one and spare two, and later. Okay, so this is a design chart of account which we recommended for the customer. Okay, so in this example, if you understand the organization hierarchy, this is a Tata enterprise level. This is a Tata enterprise level. These are legal entities or companies. Each company I can treat it as a legal entity. Each company I treat it as a legal entity, right? So all these are the divisions. Okay, so if you understand this, under Tata Enterprise we have a legal entity. All these cars, trucks, location, everything has come under chart of account. These chart of accounts are come under which one? It is all chart of accounts are come under primary ledger. Okay, so here we have enterprise structure. Under enterprise structure, we have legal entity and we have ledger. And under ledger, for example, Hyderabad and Bangalore are two different locations. Okay, here they want to security. They require security. Okay, if you want to require security, what I need to do? I need to define Tata Cars Hyderabad BU. And Tata Cars Hyderabad BU is different. In the same way, Tata Cars, okay, Bangalore BU. In the same way, Tata Cars, Tata Trucks, Hyderabad BU, Tata Trucks, Bangalore BU. In the same way, here, okay, here we don't have location concept, right? Here they want to maintain some security between divisions. Here itself they want to maintain security. Basically, these are divisions, but even though they want to maintain the security, in such case, what we need to do, Tata Consulting OU. So Tata, training BU. So these are different BUs. Okay, development BU, for example, Tata Development BU, Tata Development BU. So company Tata Steel, right? Tata Steel here. Here company itself we can take as a, for example, Tata Steel. Tata Steel BU. Okay. So here the location can be treated as a business unit, or divisions can be treated as a business unit, or company can be treated as a business unit. Company also, for example, Tata Steel, they don't have any location, they don't want to track based on location. In such a case, company itself can be treated as a location. They want to maintain the security in that level. So these are the business units we need to implement. These are the business units we need to implement. All these business units will come here. Under this business unit, maybe this Cars Hyderabad, they have two different locations they're doing. So we can maintain the inventory organizations also. Inventory organizations. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to bring all these things into application. Okay, so any questions, Mustafa, for you?
No, it's okay.
You were able to understand. Yesterday you asked one question: can I define division as a business unit?
As I understood, better to define definition as a line of business and or location.
Yeah, anything can be considered as a business unit. That's all about how level, which level you want to maintain the security, that can be considered as a business unit. Okay. So yeah, and one important point here is, so when we start implementing, currencies are not required. For example, if you go and see here, manage currencies. Okay, manage currency. All country currencies are given by Oracle. There is no need to use that. Manage currencies. Okay, so here we can search. So all country currencies are given already. You see, in rare case, so why we need to go with some cross currencies? Okay, for example, let's assume that I have a projects module. I have a projects module. In my projects module, I want to maintain my variance, currency variance. Just assume that I'm taking a small example. I want to maintain currency variance. So currency, when I say currency variance, project is running for 3 years. Okay, project is running for 3 years. So many, okay, so many multi-currency transactions are incurring. For example, usually the currency, the project currency is just assume USD. Okay, but some Canadian dollars, okay, or might be some Great Britain pound dollar, some UK currency, different currency transactions are happening. So when a different currency transactions are happening, we need to go with conversion rate, right? We need to go with the conversion. Usually the recommended conversion is corporate. So this corporate rate, based on the date which incurred, accordingly system will automatically do the conversion. Okay, for example, let's take one example. So for example, 1000 USD. Okay, 1000 USD, and so maybe it is incurred in 1 month. Maybe 2000 USD, it is incurred another month. So this day, the conversion rate might be, okay, we convert it into INR, it is 75. But whereas here, it is converted into 90, just assume. So there are two different currency conversions. So if you converted this amount total, for example, 75,000, and this amount will be 1,80,000. Total amount is 2,55,000. But what is required is I want to find some, okay, I want to find some variance. So how the variance will be calculated? They want to go with fixed rate. Maybe every time they will take only 75. So if you go with fixed rate, I cannot go with the conversion. I want to define new conversion rate. That means new exchange rate is required. So that's the reason what we need to do. I need to define some fixed rate currency. I need to define. Maybe I can define, instead of going with this, I need to go with 3000 XUSD. 3000 XUSD. This XUSD is a conversion rate. This XUSD is a fixed rate conversion for nominal USD. So this XUSD is not available as a conversion rate type in the application. This currency is not available. What I will do, I will define a cross currency of XUSD so that this XUSD, when we convert it, it will get 2,25,000. Okay, 2,25,000 will come. So the difference of whatever 30,000, so that it will be converted into variance. Because many organizations, currency variance is very important for them. So they want to determine if you go with corporate rate or if you go with fixed rate, how much is the difference they want to identify. Okay, so I mean it's not more significant in contrast with financials, but the parts we can really put major like this and some of the projects. Okay, so what I'm telling here is there is no need to define the currencies. Currencies are already given by Oracle. Now what we need to do? We need to define calendar. So what we can do, manage accounting calendar. Here, I need to define my own calendar. For example, I want to define Tata calendar. Okay, so Tata calendar. So maybe there is some gap. I should be having some gap. Okay. So Tata calendar. Okay, there are two types of calendars are available. Okay. So one is accounting calendar and transaction calendar. But there is one more calendar is available. That's a budget calendar. So that we'll talk little later. So now we are talking about accounting calendar. For example, I want to start from January. Okay, January. Okay, so when you say January, how we want to get the period frequency? Do we want to define monthly? Do we want to define yearly, or do we want to define weekly? Or else 445. 445 means it's a quarterly calendar. Each month, first month we'll get only 4 weeks. Second month we'll get 4 weeks. Okay. So in first month, whatever balance days, and second month, whatever balance days, that will go to third month. Third month we'll get 5 weeks. Okay. So we can go with this also. Otherwise, usually most of the people they'll go with monthly only. So when I say monthly, we can able to create 12 accounting periods, and the format we can take MMM and YY. So monthly and yearly fiscal year. So automatically it will come, and you can change different. Okay. So for example, I want to go with I don't want to with January. I want to go with some kind of numbering. So in such case, what we can do, we can go like this also. So 120 means it's a January 20. So usually the recommendation would be, okay, here we have two types of calendars, right? Fiscal year calendar and normal accounting calendar. So if it is for 1 year, you can take any, but when the difference will get is, if you're using 2 years combination, the recommendation would be calendar year. The recommendation would be calendar year. Here, just select any one, no issues. I'm selecting here fiscal year. Okay, fiscal year. Okay, Jan 20. And if you want to record any missing transactions, okay. So where we missing transactions, if you want to record, we required some adjustment periods. Okay, I can maintain one or more adjustment periods. So once at year end, okay, or once at beginning, there are different. You can keep that. So for example, once at beginning of the year and once at the year of the year, means system will create 2 adjustment periods. Okay, so in this example, I'm taking once at year end. So if any transactions are missing through 12 periods, that missing transactions I can record it at the end of that particular month. So twice at year end. So twice at year end means 2 I will get. If I want to get only once at year end. So this calendar definition, if you talk about EBS, I need to define manually. So I need to define January, February, March like that. But in case of Fusion, it is all, there is a tool is given. Based on the tool, we can define our calendar. So our calendar is very easy. For example, if before January, if I want to keep your company name, for example, I want to use Tata name. So then what we can do, user defined prefix if I do, automatically Tata January is also coming. Okay. And separator between month and year, how the separator we want to take care. So if we want to go like this, so that separator will come like this. Usually we need to go with this only. Okay, so if you want to assume that this calendar is useful for the budgeting purpose, and if you want to maintain the budgets, I need to enable the checkbox. Then it will treat it as a budget calendar. So don't enable. So after that, what we need to do, we need to define next. So what happens is system will automatically distribute these periods, and at the end of the period, so okay, in order to record the missing transactions, system automatically enable this adjustment period. In this adjustment period, okay, you can enter any missing transactions. So the purpose of adjustment period is, if any transaction is missing in any period, we can record the transaction in the month of December only, but that not normal December period. We have a separate period, but they are given only 1 day. So that day itself, any day transaction missing, we are recording in that day. Okay. So like this, we can create it. In future, if you want to add another years, for example, I want to add one more year, what I need to do is just to save and close. Just save and close. I want to add couple of years, okay, for this calendar. What I can do is, so what is my calendar? My calendar is Tata calendar. So Tata calendar. So I want to add, I want to create calendar periods for 2021 also. What I will do, add year. So this 2020 is for current existing periods, and now I'm adding for one more year. Automatically, it will create the calendar for 2021. 2021 also it will be created in the same format. Okay, so how many periods you want to maintain per year is all about requirement. 99% companies they used to go with monthly. Okay, but in case of project accounting periods, okay, so if project accounting period close is very important for your business, okay, they want to close on weekly basis, and the reporting is very significant on weekly. They will go with weekly also. Otherwise, project accounting periods also they will go with monthly only. So save and close. Mustafa, any questions, please?
It's okay.
Yeah.
But now this is all the step to set up the system from scratch, right? We spoke about the currency, and now we are speaking about calendar.
Correct.
This is mandatory things to run the system or the GL.
Yes. When you start implementing as a financial consultant, the primary steps we need to start with the calendar. Currencies are not required, as we discussed. Currencies are already given by Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is no need to define currency, but this calendar definition is required. So when we're doing any implementation, normally how we need to define the calendar. So for example, I'm implementing for my customer in 2020. So I need to define calendar for 2020, or else I need to define calendar from very older periods. How we need to define that? What is the business demand? We need to understand that point. For example, so when we are implementing for customer, okay, we need to talk to the customer. Customer is saying that they want to bring some old data also, some historical data also they want to bring into that. So some old assets also they want to bring into the application, or might be they will bring into some old invoices or old journal entries, because they want to completely scrap the legacy system. Everything they will be okay, everything they will rely on only Oracle system going forward. In such case, what we need to do, as part of reference data, we want to bring the legacy data also into the application. Okay, in such cases, in order to record the transactions, we need to start defining the periods from the older years. Okay, for example, 2015 onwards, I want to bring my old date. So we need to define the calendar from 2015. Okay, so 2005, whatever date. Okay, so from that date onwards we need to define the calendar. So we are in the year of 2020, so business might not aware how to define the periods for 1 or 2 years. Okay, that's the reason we are defining the periods for at least 2021 2022 also. Why? Because the business might not aware how we can define the periods. Maybe after 3 years, the business also will get some experience about Oracle applications. They will get enough knowledge on the application, how we can manage that, so that after 2022, they can able to create the respective periods which are required. Here, 2 points. Okay, when we need to start defining the periods, and till which year we need to, define the periods. So point 1 is based on the business requirement. Okay, how we want to migrate the data. Okay, if it is from 2010, yes, we need to define the periods from 2010, and with respect to future years, at least 1 or 2 periods, 1 or 2 years periods we need to define for future purpose. Okay, that point also we need to be noted. So once we define the calendar, we need to define chart of accounts. Chart of accounts. So here important point, try to understand. We need to understand a couple of points with respect to chart of accounts. So what is the point is, For example, I'm doing global implementations. My business is located in Canada, my business is located in UK, my business is located in Europe, maybe US. So 3 different locations are there. So how many chart of accounts I need to define? So can I go with only one chart of accounts, or
Yes.
can I go with multiple chart of accounts?
You
So
can
that
go with
is
one.
yeah. So here 2 important points we need to be understand. Point 1 is, if chart of account structure, if in all 3 countries, if you want to use the same, okay, if there is same business, same value sets, same segments, if they want to use that, then we can go with same COE. For example, try to understand UK, US, okay, for example, UK, I have company, I have account. Let's go with different cases, account, division. Okay, so here, so I don't want to go for division, I want to go with the line of business, just assume. This segment is different, this segment is different. So how many chart of accounts are required in this example? I require 2 different chart of accounts. This chart of account, this chart of account. For example, here division is same. So in this example, how many chart of accounts are required? Only one chart of account is required, which can shared by the both entities. For example, I required a company. For example, here company 1. Okay. So otherwise, what I'll do like this. For example, division. I have A division, comma B division as a values. A division, B division, C division. These are the values. That means these values are deriving from value set. But whereas here, try to understand, okay, here C division, D division, E division. In such case, okay, how many chart of accounts are required? How many chart of accounts are required? One chart of accounts or 2 chart of accounts?
One.
So in this example, we can create only one chart of accounts. We can create only one chart of accounts, but out of the chart of accounts, okay, we can create a 2 chart of account instances. Try to understand chart of account instance. Okay, here when we create the ledger, we are not using chart of accounts. We are using chart of account instance. When we talk about eBiz, yes, we have only chart of accounts. But when we talk about Fusion, we have instance concept. So in the instance concept, when I am preparing my ledger, I need to take the chart of account. Here what I will do, okay, I'll create the chart of account company account division. Okay, for example, here, this is a company value set we need to assign, right? Here we need to assign company value set. Because why I'm saying little advanced is, you know many things. That's the reason I am. Otherwise, if you don't know anything, I'll explain a little different way. Okay, so value set, account value set. Okay, here also assign. Just assume division value set. Right, division value set. So what I will do is division value set. So division value set I can assign. When I'm defining my chart of account, so first step is, what's the first step? I need to define value set. Yes or no? I need to define my value set. So okay, let's take this case little different. Once they complete it, then we can understand. So how to define chart of account first of all? So first point what we need to be noted is, to create ledger I require chart of account instance, not chart of accounts. So from chart of accounts we can create multiple instances. That point should be noted. Here if I want to create my chart of accounts, okay, for example company. So I need to determine what is the, how many companies are there, what is the chart of account code for each and every company. For example, company, I have 5 companies. One company code is 1000, second company code is 2000, third company code is 3000. Okay, so that means here, what I need to do, I need to define company value set. In company value set level, I need to okay, enable some of the properties. Okay, what is what is the length of that particular value set, and do we want to use character or number? Okay, so many properties we need to be enabled. How we can define the values? Whatever size which we selected, accordingly we can define the values. Okay, for example, in the company value set, I selected length 3. So that means I can define 100, 200, 300, 400 like that. So based on the value set length, okay, we need to define the values. So here we have a defined value set is there. In that value set, you need to specify what is the length. Okay, do you want to define numbers? Okay, this is when I say 3, I can say ABC also I can define, right? I can say ABC, or else I can define 100. So do you want to go with the numeric or alphanumeric? What is the character you want to take? Accordingly, we can define the value set. Once we define the value set, we need to define COA. We need to define COA. What is the meaning of COA? COA is nothing but segments. COA is nothing but segments. Once we define the COA, when we define the COA, we need to assign 2 things. When we define the COA, we need to assign 2 things. One is a segment label plus, okay, we need to assign value set also. Whatever value set we defined above, that value set we need to be assigned. Okay, once we define COA, from that COA, we need to define COA instance. COA instance. COA instance. Once we define the COA instance, define the values for segments. Define values for segment. For each segment, we need to define values. Here we need to understand couple of points. Point 1, point 2, point 3, like this we need to understand. Point 1 is, so if I want to define segments, okay, for example, one customer may define 10 segments, another customer may define 8 segments, another customer might be define 4 segments. But Oracle, if we have any requirement is based on business choice, what Oracle has given is, they are given a flex fields, right? Oracle has given a flex fields. Based on a flex field, we can design our chart of accounts. Okay, so there are 2 types of flex fields are available throughout application. One is key flex field, and another one is DFF, descriptive flex field. So these flex fields are very useful throughout the application. Okay, if you want to define mandatory things, if you want to define mandatory, then we need to go with this mandatory flex field called key flex field. DFF is optional or additional flex fields. So designing of chart of account is very mandatory. So you cannot escape that, right? We cannot skip that. So we cannot skip, say, when I say we cannot skip means it's a mandatory. When I say it's a mandatory to do that, we require key flex field, right? So in GL module, we have accounting flex field is there. By using accounting flex field, we can able to design our chart of accounts. So if you want to design the chart of account is a mandatory process. If you want to design that, Oracle has given accounting flex field. So accounting flex field, one of the key flex field in GL, with the help of key flex field, we can design our chart of accounts. That point is very, very important. So we need to understand in Oracle application, there are 2 kinds of flex fields. One is key flex field, one is a descriptive flex field. Descriptive flex field are optional flex fields. Okay, so we'll discuss about what's the DFF little later. So at this moment, we'll talk about only key flex field. Key flex field is very significant to define the mandatory setups in the application. When we talk about GL, in GL, COA is mandatory. In order to track that, we require accounting flex field. The whole point here is accounting flex field is a key flex field. By using accounting flex field, we can design the chart of accounts. Okay, by using accounting flex field, we can design the chart of accounts. So with the help of chart of account, we can start defining the segments. So what is a segment label? Segment label. So what is first of all value set? Value set level, we enable some properties. Enable properties. What properties we are enabling at the value set level? What is the length? What is the length? So based on this length only we can define the values. For example, if a specified length is 2, okay, for a company, I can define 10, 20, 30 like that, the values and all. So the length, we need to specify the length and we need to specify the characters, okay, and how the values, either dependent values or independent values. So many properties we are setting at value set level. And we are talking here about accounting flex field. By using accounting flex field, what we can do? We can track, we can design chart of accounts. We can design chart of accounts. So accounting flex field is a key flex field. Third point here is segment label. So what is the importance of segment label? For example, I have a company, okay, I have a division, I have an account. Let's say company Tata Motors, cars division, for example, rent. So for example, 10,000 rupees. So in the same way, Tata Motors, cars, right, cash account. So this is also 10,000 rupees. In this example, okay, so any one of the segments should get balanced as per mandatory process. Okay, these company values should get balanced. If it is not balanced, what happens? Any guess? Mustafa, for example, debit side Tata Motors is there, credit side Tata Motors is there. So usually these two will get balanced. For example, credit side TCS is there. So this is a valid journal entry or not? Tell me please.
It is a valid what? General entry?
This is a valid journal entry or it is invalid journal entry?
Motor, car, TC car. It is not valid.
So Tata Motors rent, Tata Motors cars division rent is paying by TCS. Correct, right?
You mean is this an intercompany transaction?
Yeah, company level we are passing this transaction. Okay, the Tata Motors user, he entered this transaction. So this is a real time, it might happen or it might not happen.
I don't know. As I understand from this transaction, it is intercompany transaction.
Yes, exactly. You are saying correct. So this is valid transaction when, if it is intercompany, if it is intercompany transaction, if it is valid. If it is not intercompany, your company is not implementing intercompany, and if you are passing this transaction, your company
will give error.
Then it is error. It should throw error, right? It should throw error. Why? Because the debit side and credit side should not balance. So that is the reason. So when it is get balanced, so the debit and credit is always should get balanced in normal scenarios.
Yes.
Okay. So that is the reason these two, this is primarily should get balanced. That's the reason what we need to do is, okay, there are some segment labels are given. What segment labels are available? Primary segment label, primary balancing segment label, balancing segment label. In the way, secondary segment label is available. Secondary is there. Third is there. Third means, see, usually 3 are not required. At least 1 is mandatory. For example, debit side company, credit side company should any cost balance. For example, I want to prepare my balance sheet which is specific to company. So here 2 points. At what level you want to prepare the balance sheet, that level we need to assign balancing segment label. Okay, primarily it is assigned to company. For example, company I assign, for example, cars and trucks. For example, this also want to get balance. For example, this is also invalid or not. Sometimes it is invalid. Why? Because cars expenses, trucks will pay, then it is interdivision transaction. Okay, that means this debit and credit also needs to be balanced. That's the reason what I can do. Primary balancing segment I can assign to company. Okay, and if you want to make a balance for any other level, might be division level or might be location level, and remaining two qualifiers we can use maybe other levels. Okay, so the basic point is when we want to create, when we define segments, we need to assign the label. The advantage of label is, okay, for example, if it's a balancing segment label, so the debit and credit should be balanced. Okay, if it is not balanced, system will throw error. If you don't want to throw error, we need to implement intercompany. If you don't want to throw error, we need to implement intercompany. This is one of the label. And the segment label, okay, and the segment label, okay, so we have three different labels are available. Cost center, cost center label. What is the advantage of this label? So usually if you want to track the cost, okay, there are some, for example, if I want to implement fixed assets module, okay, so if I want to implement fixed assets module in our chart of account, any one of the segments should enable as a cost center so that the depreciation account, the other expense account will not fail. Okay, so in order to prepare P&L account also, cost center is very significant. Okay, if you want to prepare the P&L account also, cost center is very, very important. Okay, that's the reason this cost center might be assigned to division. This cost center might be assigned, but you may ask the question, for division we already assigned secondary label. Okay, but can we assign again one more label? Yes, we can assign one more label also. So cost center label, if you assign to any segment, in the segment label you can able to track the cost. Okay, you can able to track the cost and you can able to prepare the P&L account. If you assign balance sheet segment label, you can prepare the balance sheet at that level. So usually Oracle has given three different balancing segment labels, but out of that one is mandatory. But in case of EBS, we don't have three, we have only one. But in case of Fusion, Oracle, in order to make a balance in different levels and different layers, okay, Oracle has given three different segment labels with respect to balancing. So cost center segment label is there. So cost center segment label can be assigned to maybe division, maybe line of business based on the requirement. And now what we need to do, account segment label, account segment label. What is the advantage of account segment label is, see, when you prepare the trial balance or when you prepare the balance sheet or when you prepare the P&L account. So for example, if you take P&L account, expenses will be debited and revenues will be created. If you take as assets, okay, if you take as a balance sheet, assets is one side and liabilities on the other side. So that means how system will automatically derive. Do we need to hard code in each and every element, or we need to hard code based on the account type? So we always go with account type. So each and every element which you are defining under account, we need to specify what type of account it is. For example, cash is asset account. Salaries is mystery account. Why system is asking when we define the values per account? Why it is not asking at the time of company? The reason behind this is we assign the account segment label. When we assign account segment label, when we define the values under the account, okay, each and every account it will ask us the account type. So based on the account type, that it will display in either balance sheet or in P&L account. Okay. So here the point here is the account segment should be always assigned to account only. In mistake, if you assign for company, that is incorrect design. So because when we define the values for company, it will ask us what is the account type. For company, it shouldn't ask us the account type, right? For account only, it will ask us the what type of account it is. So account segment should be assigned to account segment. In the same way, management segment label. So management segment label, the purpose is, okay, try to understand. I have cars, I have trucks, just example, I have consulting. So I have three different divisions are there, right? For example, there is one user, he will able to access only cars. He will able to access only cars with read privilege. Okay, and trucks he want to access read and write privilege. Read and write privilege. Try to understand. So there is three different. There are three different divisions. Cars, trucks, consulting. A is a user. Cars can be read access, and that means if any other users he can able to review, but he cannot enter. So trucks means read and write both we have. In the same example, for example, company. So company we have motors, right? So for example, motors we have read access, and consulting we have read and write access. So if we want to have this kind of requirement, what we need to do is, so these values, what we are calling it as read and write access. Read and write. Try to understand. These values, company values, I can call it the balancing segment values in this example. Why balancing segment values? Because I assign to the primary balancing segment. Balancing segment values. So these values I can call it the management segment values. Management segment values. Because I assign division segment to management segment label, just assume. So if we have management segment label, if you have balance segment label, if you want to go with the read and write privilege, there is a concept called data access set. So with the data access set, any particular value, okay, either management segment value or balancing segment value, I can restrict with read and write privilege. So if it's a balance segment value, I should enable balance segment label. If I set management segment label, management segment values, I should enable management segment label. Basically, it is for restriction purpose in order to go with the read and write privilege, and that is very significant in order to manage the data access sets. Okay, data access set functionality is there. By using data access set, I can restrict my management segment values, I can restrict my balance segment values, or I can restrict with the ledger. We'll talk about this functionality a little later. Here and all what we need to understand is management segment label just for restriction of some divisions or restriction of some locations. Okay, so based on the read and write privilege. So that is one of the labels. Like this, there are different labels are available. Out of these are very primary significant labels. Okay, when you assign balancing segment label, debit side and credit side should be same. And by when you assign balancing segment label, that level we can able to prepare the balance sheet. Cost center, if you assign cost center segment label, we can able to track the cost, and we can able to track some P&L account elements also. So account segment means system will ask us the account type, whether it's asset account or expense account, the liability account or revenue account. It will ask us while define the values. Management segment label, it is more useful to restrict the user, okay, for any division or location with read and write privileges. So these are different segment labels are available. Okay, try to understand. For example, I design one chart of accounts. and the chart of account having 3-4 segments. I assign value sets. But okay, I design one. For example, I design one instance. For example, US instance I created. So when I design US instance, just assume that, okay, when I design US instance, so this is a value set. We created all these three. Okay, try to understand based on this company value set. For this division, we have CDE. We have. So for CDE is coming divisions, but for UK, for example, UK, they want to go with a different value set. What I will do is at the time of defining my chart of account instance, try to understand. I always copy the chart of account instance from chart of accounts only. But when you copy the chart of account from instance from chart of accounts, whatever value set is there, same value set will get copied to my instance. But here here you have the option to override your value set values. You understand the point?
Okay, but I can overwrite you mean.
So in our chart of accounts level, we have division, we have ABC is there. For US by default, ABC is coming, but US, I don't want that. I want some other other values. If you want to go with other values, you need to define other value set. You can override that value set, so automatically you will get another values. So the advantages they will ask us, what is the difference between chart of accounts and chart of account instance? So many people will think like this. Many people, most of the consultant will think like this. What they're thinking, out of 100 consultants, maybe 80% of the consultant think like this. Company, division, account, product. Okay, for example, this is my COA. Okay, I'm creating COA instance. For example, COA instance for US. I required only company, division, account. For example, I required UK COA instance. I may require, because from this company, and I required only account and product. So that means we are having chart of account is there. From this chart of account, we can create multiple instances. Company, division, account. You got my point? So this is possible or not possible? In company level, company, division, account, product is there. 4 segments I have there. But when I copying US COA instance, I am just bringing only 3 segments. Out of the 4, I am using only 3. In the same way, I am creating UK COA instance. I am creating another. This requirement is possible or not?
I think it is not possible, because
this is actually the intended behavior of the application. This is requirement is really required. That is if Oracle has given this kind of functionality, that is a way Oracle, okay, we can understand that the instance concept has a lot of significance. Okay, so this requirement is not possible, but only what requirement is possible is, for example, company, we have ABC value set. Okay, so that means in chart of accounts level, whatever segments are there, all segments we need to use. You got this point? Okay, you got this, right? So when I create US COA instance, I can copy the same chart of accounts. I cannot ignore any one of the segment. You cannot ignore any one of the segments. At this, at this current design I'm talking about. So you need to take all 4 segments. Okay, so and here in UK level, you need to copy all 4 segments only. But what is the advantage here is, you can take BCD value set. You got right? So we can only override the value sets. But
you mean only the number or the value set of the company, it is changed, right?
You can able to even this level also you can change the value set. Any level you can change the value set. Okay, whatever chart of accounts level it is there, it will come by default, but we can override that. Value sets and values can change that, but out of segments, okay, we cannot take whatever segments we require. We cannot do that. Firstly, whatever segments are given in the chart of accounts, same segments we need to use. Then what is the purpose of chart of account instance? So this chart of account instance purpose, I don't think it will not purpose, okay, much so. Okay, why? Because the reason is, so see, I can define one global chart of accounts, and out of that, based on country specific requirements, whatever segments are required, those segments and only I can use that. Here I should have the facility, what segments are required, I should override. I mean, it's not like override. Out of that, what segment I need to select it. For example, 10 segments are there. Out of that, I can select 6 segments, 7 segments, whatever. And I should have the ability to override my value set. I'm expecting both. But both, it's not possible. Only override of value set is only possible. Okay. So that's a point we needs to be noted. Okay, so that's a very key point. But in this design, even when I was learning, I thought the same. Okay, so Oracle has given chart of account and chart of account instance concept. This is very useful for the global designs. We can derive only one global, one blueprint for chart of accounts, and out of that, based on the regional requirement, we can define multiple chart of account instances which are specific to different locations. But when I start trying to learning, okay, when I start practicing, I came to know that this is not possible. Even I checked with, and after I did one or two implementations, so there also I understand that this is not all possible. Only the purpose of instance is, okay, to just override the value sets. Out of that, there is no much purpose out of this. Yeah.
So if there is a requirement to have, let's say, two different companies, different, let's say, line of business, and requirement to change the chart of account, it's better to do two chart of account. Is this what you mean? That two instant, it will not help us. Like one chart of account and two instant, it will not help us if there is a major difference in the requirement.